What's going on, everyone? This is Walt from TechTheory, back today with another tech review video. Now today we will be reviewing the HP Pavilion x360 14-inch laptop. Now this is a 2-in-1 laptop, which means that you can fold the keyboard back and use it as a tablet, or you can use it as a normal laptop, which is super cool. Now the x360 comes at a $480 price point, which may seem a little steep to some, but compared to other 2-in-1s such as the Microsoft Surface, which runs from $800 to about $900, this is a pretty good price point. Now, the x360 has not given me the best laptop experience, or 2-in-1 experience for that matter, but it might be a great budget option for some people. Now, without further ado, let's move on to specs. Now, in terms of processing, you have two processor choices. The one I have is the Intel Core i3-8130U with a base clock of 2.2 GHz. Now, on the other hand, the i3 has not been so great to me. I've had really subpar performance out of it, so if you're going to buy this laptop, I would definitely recommend getting the i5. Moving on to graphics, mine has the Intel UHD Graphics 620, but you can also get the NVIDIA MX130 with 2GB of VRAM, which is really cool. Out of the box, mine came with 8GB of DDR4 memory, but you can upgrade it to 16GB of DDR4 memory, and you can even check on the site and actually get it sent to you with 16GB already pre-installed. You just won't be able to upgrade it past that point. Moving on to storage, mine came with 512GB stored on an NVMe SSD, and you can even upgrade to a 1TB NVMe SSD and add a 16GB Optane drive. Now what Optane is going to do for you is it's going to speed your life up. You're going to get faster processing, you're going to get faster storage and load speeds, and basically the reason for this is the Optane drive sits somewhere between an SSD and a stick of RAM. It's a really weird technology, but it's a really cool technology. Definitely check it out and maybe think about adding it to your version of the x360. Now, finally, with all of that out the way, I can talk to you guys about this amazing display. Now, I'm not talking about it's a 4K display with amazing color accuracy or anything like that, but for a $480 laptop, this display is phenomenal. Now, it's a 14-inch display that you can get in two different panels. The first of which is a 1366 by 768 HD panel, which is what I have, and I love it. But you can also get the 1920 by 1080 FHD display, which will cost you a few more nickels and dimes and will actually lower your battery life. So make sure to think about that if you're thinking about upgrading to the FHD panel. Now, both panels have an amazing touchscreen. I cannot stress this enough. I love the touchscreen on these things, especially coupled with the stylus that they send you right out of the box. Now, personally, I use it for taking notes, mainly drawing diagrams in physics or drawing out equations in calculus. Now, I don't know how in the world to type an integral, but it is really easy to draw it with this pen that they provided. Also, my friend came over and he is an amazing artist, so I wanted to get him to try out the drawing aspect of it. So we opened up the little Sketchpad app and he drew out a picture of a flag with an eagle on it, and it turned out amazing, and he ended up loving it. It had a cool protractor that he tried out, a cool ruler for straight lines, and it was just a really cool experience. And he said, there was a learning curve with the glass and drawing on it, but it was a really cool experience. On to I/O and connectivity. This unit has an 802.11 AC Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 4.2 combo. Turning to I/O, this unit has an AC power port, an HDMI 4.1 port, a USB 3.1 Type A port, a USB 3.1 Type C port, as well as an SD card reader and a little volume rocker on the side that kind of feels cheap to me. It was put there for the tablet purposes of this laptop, but it just comes across feeling kind of cheap. The button's not very sturdy or anything like that. Now, moving on to the other side, you have another USB 3.1 Type A port and a 3.5 headphone mic combo jack. Now, when it comes to audio, this unit has dual speakers made by Bang & Olufsen, if I'm pronouncing that right, and they're actually quite good in my opinion. The highs are excellent for a laptop of this size. But the lows, on the other hand, are not so great. The bass all sounds really scratchy, and almost like all bass in any song you're listening to is supposed to sound like a really bad techno song. So, like I said, the speakers are good for a laptop of this size, but not if you're into really basic music.
The webcam on this unit is fairly trash, and the mic's no better, to be honest.
Moving on to battery life, it's not quite that impressive either. This unit has a 41 watt hour battery that claims 9 hours of battery life on the HD panel and 8.5 with the full HD panel. Now I have to call bull on this because I haven't even experienced 8 hours on the HD panel, which is what I have. And usually throughout the day, I'm using it in about one class and maybe an hour here or there to watch YouTube videos or, maybe take some notes out of my textbook or something like that. And I'm really getting closer to 7.5 to 8 hours on the HD panel. So if you have that full HD panel, then you're probably not going to even see that. So the battery life's not super great, but if you don't need it for much, it might work for you. In terms of build quality, for the price point that this product's at, it's a rather good build quality. Now, you get an all plastic body, which is only to be expected for a price point of about $480. But the product doesn't really feel cheap. Now, you're definitely aware that you're not carrying a MacBook or a Zephyrus, but you don't feel like you're carrying a piece of crap either. It's very sturdy. Now, the keyboard has minimal flex, but all in all feels very solid. Now the hinges, on the other hand, are probably the cheapest part of this laptop, and that's because they wobble like crazy. If you get to typing more than a sentence, your screen's going to start wobbling back and forth, and it's really annoying, and it can even start to make a noise, which is like, really awkward if you're sitting in a public space and you're trying to type and your screen's just sitting there wobbling back and forth the whole time you're trying to type. And so the hinges, in my opinion, definitely cheapen the whole experience of this laptop. Now that we have the specs and the build quality out of the way, let's talk about the everyday experience. Now, this laptop's performance is definitely not what I expected when I bought it. It has been subpar, to say the least. Now, for you tech heads out there, we've got some Geekbench scores for you. These scores include a single core score of 3057, a multi-core score of 6383, and an OpenCL score of 17,232. Now, I've also had several driver issues with this laptop. Now, when I say this, it's been driver conflicts, it's been outdated drivers that I'll update and they'll still be outdated, and it's like they didn't update. It's just been a lot of issues with those drivers, and it's caused the computer to hang up on the daily and freeze all the time, and it's just really slow performance. Now, just recently, I did realize that Google Chrome and this computer did not jive. I've been using it for a while. I never thought that it was Google Chrome. I've heard all the jokes about Google Chrome, but I thought they had gotten better. Well, apparently not. So I did switch over to Opera, which is personally my favorite browser, and this has improved the performance a good bit, though I do still get hangups, just not as much as I was when I was using Google Chrome. Now, when you try loading programs on this thing, just expect a 1 to 5 minute load time on those, which is really annoying, especially if you go into a lecture and your teacher just starts going into it, and 5 minutes later when your note-taking app loads up, you're like halfway through the lecture, you've missed the first half of notes, and you're kind of screwed, So that is really annoying. Now, I don't mean to say that this laptop hasn't given me any good things. It's great to carry around, and once you get a program loaded, it actually responds fairly decently. Now, I'll load up OneNote, and after the 5-minute wait time and I get it loaded up, it performs really well. I can take my notes, no problem. And like I said, it works really well with the pen and everything to do that in OneNote. Now, this is a fairly small laptop, coming in at 12.73 by 8.82 by 0.77 inches and weighing 3.72 pounds. So as you can see, this is a really compact 2-in-1 that is really good for commuting and, college students carrying it around to classes. Now, if you were going to buy this laptop, I would definitely advise getting the i5 processor to give it that extra oomph that I didn't have. Because, like I said, the i3 just really, I would not buy it again. But I already have it, so I'm using it. Now, overall, this is a fair laptop for the price that you get it at. It's perfect for, like I said, college students, if you're commuting, even for small business work. If you want something small to carry to work and to use there, this might be a good option for you if you're not willing to spend the $800, $900 price point of something like a Microsoft Surface. But now, if you want to game, if you want to create content, if you want to do anything more than the lightest of editing in Photoshop, then you need to go with a different laptop, or at least spec out this laptop. You definitely want to get, the i5 along with the NVIDIA MX130 graphics. You want to definitely upgrade this laptop if that's what you're wanting to do. Now, I still don't think that you're going to get any gaming out of this or any video editing out of this. I really don't. But you're welcome to try, Now, just be aware that even if you do get this spec'd out and you get it, with all the bells and whistles, that HP's driver solution is not the best in my opinion. You have a lot of outdated drivers, you'll have a lot of driver conflicts, or at least in my situation I did, and even when I would update them through HP, I would still get these weird outdated driver issues, and I'd still get, I didn't have drivers installed for various different components of the computer. So it's really weird, their driver solution. But just be prepared for that if this is the laptop that you're thinking about investing in. Thanks for watching this tech review by TechTheory. Now, if you like this video, make sure to leave a like. If you didn't, do the other thing, but we'd rather you not do that. Make sure to subscribe and click the little bell to be notified when we upload new videos. Also, if you want to buy the product that we talked about today, you can check it out in the description below, as well as visit our website. Also, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at the links that should be placed right here. Thank you for watching and have a good one.